to Mr. Randy's Wine and Spirits. I am Mr. Randy, and today we're going to be doing another episode of The Final Pour. If you're new to the channel, hello, welcome, come on in, get comfortable, enjoy the show. All my returning viewers, you know how we do. Let's get it on, shall we? So this is part 3 of a 3-part series I do when I'm doing a full review of a whiskey or bottle, libation, what have you. Part 1 is off the rip. I get it home, crack it open, pour it in a glass, slow down, have my first impressions and share them with you because that's what this is all about. Sharing. That's what YouTube has always been about. And now I'm putting a lot of videos on YouTube. So that's what it was for in the beginning. I hope that's what it is in the end. I'm not wishing for the end, but here we are. Part 2 is going to be right here, halfway point, we call the full review. I'm going to give that whiskey, libation, what have you, inside the bottle about roughly 2 weeks to sit, open up. The characteristics may get better, they may get worse. It is what it is. I go on the internet, try and find as much information as I possibly can, formulate it no matter where I can get it in roughly about 10 minutes or less because, you know, attention spans these days. Now here we are, part 3, last final pour. I'm going to have the final pour with you here right now, and we're going to find out whether this final pour was anything like the first pour and everything in between. Yeah, just go ahead and... I'm getting pretty good at recognizing about how much... Just wipe that off. About how much I need to leave for this review. So how long is it between I get to that point and I let it sit? No more than like a day or two. So when I'm drinking this from the full review and I'm drinking it down, I get down to right about here, I start paying very careful, close attention to how much is left. And when I roughly get it about where we're at, going to be one little pour, that's when I hopefully I can stop. Sometimes you go a little too far. One time or twice, I think I've gotten barely enough for a last pour. A few times I've had more. So I'm starting to get a little bit better about nailing it right here in this spot. So as you can see on the final pour, it does still have some pretty good viscosity. The legs, look at that, big fat legs, because it is a Scotch. It is the sheep dip. Sheep dip. If you haven't seen the full review video, go ahead and check that out. It's got a pretty cool story about why it's called sheep dip. It's kind of nasty, but it's kind of tricky. It's a dirty, undermined tricks, but hey, F those taxmen, right? Okay, so now on the nose, it's very soft caramel, a very soft but deep, rich caramel, still hanging about. It's still got that good fruity, that good delicious vanilla fruit, floral a little bit. I believe the nose, even though it got turned down from the pour, the first pour, the midway point, and now the final pour, the nose still kind of hangs in there. I do believe, if I remember correctly, the nose on the first pour may have been a little bit off, and it mellowed out halfway through, and now it's got that very soft, like warm caramel, light, juicy fruit. It's got a very nice nose, even all the way to the final pour. Kind of almost makes me want to give a little bit more credit on the score that I gave it. I don't really remember off the top of my head what it was, but I know it was definitely not as much as I thought it was going to be before I even got into this. Enough of that. Let's go ahead and get on the palate. The viscosity does transfer well. However, I am seeing that I think a little bit more along the lines of the palate is a little mute. Nothing that I got off that nose is really coming through except maybe some bright, light fruit and a little bit of sweetness and a little bit of spice. The palate has really gotten mute. And that nose really fooled you. It's still there. That nose is still pretty nice. If you get real deep in it, there's like a ethanol that carries like almost like a sickly sweet kind of. Maybe not go too deep then, I guess, huh? Okay, well, let's go ahead and get this finish on it and put this one to bed, shall we? Trying to do that. There we go. There we go. Now that viscosity does travel or transfer well. Not a whole lot of action. Intensity is probably barely pressed, pushing a 3 out of 5. It's a good strong 2. A lot of that same kind of failings on the palate has now been found on the finish. The finish is very mute. The flavors kind of dissipate relatively quickly, and you're left with some spice, some tingliness, and that is probably a proper 3 out of 5 on intensity. Now, the whole tongue is sort of tingling, a little bit of warmth building up in the back. I'd say it's pretty mellow to mild finish. Now, all the flavoring has pretty much dissipated, and now we're just kind of dealing with some lingering effects. It's kind of like when you get some of that cheap bubblegum, if you've ever had, but some of my viewers have probably never had bubblegum. But the thing about some bubblegum is if you chew it for a little while, all that flavor comes out within the first 5 minutes, if even that. But Stripe gum, yeah, we're looking at you, Stripe, okay? We're looking at you. And then it's gone. And then it's just like you're chewing on a piece of rubber, and you spit it out. It doesn't last long. Wonderful nose. Absolutely. The nose got better as we went down the bottle. Palate and the finish, that kind of went in the opposite direction as we went down the bottle. Very interesting. So the nose got better as we drank down the bottle. Everything else got worse as we drank down the bottle. Now, when I say worse, I don't mean horrible. Don't drink it. If you haven't tried it, always absolutely try something new. Always try something new. And there it is. Let me know what you think in the comments. And as always, thanks for stopping by here at Mr. Randy's Wine and Spirits. Have a good one.